Netflix is losing a Western epic perfect for Yellowstone fans. Stream this movie now. Kevin Costner's Horizon, an American Saga Chapter 1-inch, is officially leaving Netflix US on Tuesday, July 15th, so if it's still sitting in your watch list, now's the time to hit play. The 3-hour Western epic got off to a rocky start in theaters, bringing in just over $38 million at the box office, roughly the same amount Kevin Costner personally invested into the first 2 chapters, which were filmed back-to-back. Considering the project reportedly cost around $100 million, it's safe to say things didn't go quite as planned. The lukewarm reception was enough to derail the theatrical release of Chapter 2, which was pulled from its original August 2024 slot. Though it premiered at film festivals, it never made it to theaters and still doesn't have a confirmed release date. It's a far cry from Costner's original vision, a sprawling 4-part saga meant to redefine the modern Western. But despite the bumpy road, the first movie found new life on Netflix back in January. After being added to the platform, the movie quickly climbed the streaming charts, proving that there's still interest, especially among Yellowstone fans curious to see what Costner has poured his heart and wallet into. After briefly finding a second wind on Netflix, it's probably already slipped back into the shadows again. But if you're in the mood for an old-school Western with big ambitions and a long runtime, Horizon, an American Saga, might be the perfect pick before it leaves Netflix. What is Horizon, an American Saga Chapter 1 about? Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 1-inch unfolds across the untamed Western frontier during the Civil War era, weaving together the lives of settlers, soldiers, and Indigenous people whose paths converge in unexpected ways. Frances Kittredge, Sienna Miller, is a mother forced to flee her home with her children after a devastating attack, seeking refuge and a new beginning in an uncertain land. Meanwhile, Hayes Ellison, Kevin Costner, a rugged frontiersman with a complicated past, navigates dangerous territory as shifting power dynamics threaten the balance between settlers and native tribes. Marigold, Jenna Malone, a fierce and independent woman, must fight for survival after a violent ambush leaves her stranded. At a nearby military outpost, First Lieutenant Trent Gephardt, Sam Worthington, tries to maintain control amid growing unrest, while Matthew Van Wyden, Luke Wilson, a community leader, attempts to guide a wagon train of families westward in search of promise and safety. Elsewhere, young Lusk, Owen Crowshoe, finds himself caught between cultures, questioning his place in a world on the brink of transformation. As these characters forge ahead across treacherous landscapes, their stories begin to intersect. Stream Horizon, an American Saga Chapter 1, before it leaves Netflix. If you're someone who enjoys big, sprawling westerns with a classic feel, and you don't mind settling in for a long runtime of 3 hours, Horizon, an American Saga, can be an interesting watch. You could even split it into 2 sessions to make the length more manageable. Breaking it up like that helps you stay absorbed in the story without feeling bored or distracted by the long runtime all at once. Costner's involvement both in front of and behind the camera shows in the movie's authentic sense of place and earnestness. There's a clear passion for the genre and the story he wants to tell. That said, it's definitely a slow burn. But it's important to note that the pacing is deliberate, and the movie leans heavily into atmosphere and character over quick thrills or tight plotting. If you want a fast-paced, action-packed Western, this probably isn't the one. Plus, since it's just the first chapter of a planned 4-part saga and the future of the sequels is uncertain, you might be left hanging. Horizon, an American Saga Chapter 1, currently has 51% on Rotten Tomatoes, with audiences rating it higher at 70%. The site's critics' consensus reads, Kevin Costner doesn't lack ambition as he sketches this frontier saga across the widest of canvases, but Horizon's first chapter proves too diffuse in scope for it to satisfy as a self-contained endeavor. Chapter 1 is more of an experience than a traditional, tightly wrapped story. If you're okay with it feeling unfinished, its grand scale and sweeping visuals are sure to wow you. Horizon, American Saga, Chapter 2, holds a 54% rating on Rotten Tomatoes following its premiere at the 81st Venice International Film Festival. While not a significantly stronger score than the first chapter, Much of the criticism centers on its episodic structure and lengthy runtime of 3 hours again. If it does eventually get a wider release, at least you'll already be familiar with the story by having seen the first installment. Aaron Newworth from We Live Entertainment said, "This second chapter improves upon what has come before it and holds on to my excitement for what's next with this series." Despite some positive reviews, the future of this franchise doesn't look very promising given the poor box office performance and the shelving of Chapter 2's theatrical release. Still, as mentioned before, Horizon is more about the experience, the sprawling visuals, and immersive storytelling than a guaranteed long-running saga. For fans of Costner, westerns, or epic historical dramas, it's a chance to watch something ambitious and heartfelt before it leaves Netflix. Remember, you have until July 15th to watch Horizon, an American Saga Chapter before it leaves the streamer.